I've got the worst cold a human being ever had. I've got a major presentation tomorrow. I've got to rest. And I'm out of NyQuil. I could take these, but I'd still be up all night coughing, which means I'd be a wreck for the presentation, which means I could get fired.
Just what you
Welcome to the Cinematic Void podcast. Cinematic Void is a cult film series that hosts screenings in the Los Angeles area as well as virtually. I'm your host, Jim Branscombe, and joining me as always is...
Yo, what's going on? It's Nick Vance, Paranoid Futures on social media. You can find Cinematic Void on the World Wide Web at cinematicvoid.com, as well as Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and all major podcast platforms. Jim, did you hear about the second whistleblower from Boeing dying? The second one in 2 months.
No, actually I did. Dude, Boeing doesn't fuck around.
That's crazy. Yeah, right?
I mean, I was just on a plane. I don't know if it was a Boeing. I think most planes, like major airline planes, are Boeings, aren't they?
I will never complain at the airport again. I will never get on the bad side of Boeing.
I mean, I sat on the like literally the wing, and I could watch it do all the mechanisms as you're flying and all that. Fucking respect to Boeing.
Yeah.
Don't kill me.
Yeah. I just every time I fly, I go like, I'll never fly Spirit again. I just bought plane tickets in their Spirit. I mean, it's like, how is it half the price of like the next thing up? Always.
Because
it sucks that much.
It sucks that bad, and you got to pay to bring on a carry-on. You got to pay to check your bag. You got to pay to pick.
I don't bring anything, so that's why it works for me. Maybe there's a point when you're bringing enough stuff that it just makes sense to just fly United instead.
I mean, I
don't fucking bring anything but like one thing on me. You know what I mean? So I'm good.
I flew JetBlue because they have direct flights from LA to Boston, which is the main reason, and they're kind of affordable, but not really.
Yeah,
they're a little pricey, but the flight was pretty good. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess we're talking about flying here, so I guess is that where we're starting with, or
I don't know, man. I'm gonna go see a show on the East Coast in a few weeks, so that's why I'm flying. But I don't know, man. We're doing a podcast. I just want to hang out, so I was like, hey Jim, let's do a podcast. And then I was gonna trick you and be like, just kidding, let's not do the podcast, let's just hang out. But we set up some mics, so we're here. I don't know, man. We went to a show last night.
We did. And it was kind of cool. And,
despite my hatred for live music.
Well, yeah, that
I try to keep my mouth shut.
Well, it was good, but if you can't tell, my voice sounds a little weird because
Jim was singing along to every word, and he lost his voice last night at the show. He was screaming along, yeah.
I wish that was the case. That would be cooler. It's no, fuck. It's it's fucking sinus and allergy season, and I just got back from flying from Salem Horror Fest, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. And it fucked with my sinuses, the flight. This has been the second flight in a row that's really fucked with me in this way. So now it's I can't breathe. My sinuses are draining. I just want to fucking take a power drill and drill a hole in my sinuses.
AKA the perfect time to do a podcast.
Exactly. It's hey, Jim, you're going to sound like shit. Let's do this podcast. But anyway, let's talk about the show we went to where I lost my voice by standing there. But
yeah, shit was cool. It was Parish from France, the countryside of France, as they say. Heavenward and Glacier Veins from, I think, Portland opened the show at the Echo. But it was cool, man. I thought so. I really like Heavenward, so I like going to go see those guys as much as possible before they get big, and we have to go see them with a lot of other people being there, and it's annoying.
Well, I mean, I'm just not gonna go.
Yeah, it's true.
No, I mean they're sick. They're definitely worth checking out, especially if you're in LA. I don't know if they're gonna tour or anything anytime soon, or they're just gonna do the local gigs for the time being.
Yeah, they're killing it. But we've seen them twice now, and they fucking ruled both times. And the record from last year. Pyrophonic is super good, worth checking out.
If you like Catherine Wheel and shoegaze and a little bit of Deftones stuff,
yeah,
it's definitely worth checking out. I'd say Parish is what would you describe it as?
Kind of more of the same, but a little lighter. You know, it's like not quite as heavy as a lot of the new bands, but it's still that same sort of sound. Does that make sense? I don't know. It kind of reminds me of Balance and Composure or something.
Yeah, that's probably good. That's probably good, like, you know, point of reference.
Yeah.
And I like Glacier Veins a lot. I guess it would be like they were definitely more on the shoegaze side of things too.
Yeah.
A little noisy.
They reminded me at times her voice reminded me of Sweet Pill.
Okay, yeah.
Which then reminded me that they played just a few days ago at the Echo, and I totally spaced on the show, and I like entirely meant to go.
Speaking of things at the Echo, Miss Fleshwater, because that show's sold out.
Yeah, totally. Rick from Double Life went and had a ticket for me, and I could not go because I was projecting.
You want to tell people what you were projecting?
I did the premiere of the new Jerry Seinfeld Netflix film. It was like the big red carpet premiere with like the entire courtyard was covered in red carpet. It was fucking pretty wild. Pretty cool.
Did they give away Pop-Tarts at it?
I think it was like maybe the popcorn boxes were like, you know, it said like unfrosted and it had like the whole poster thing on it or something, you know, but it kind of looked like maybe a Pop-Tart box.
Okay. I just was curious how far they leaned into it.
A bit.
Well, speaking of movies and my sinuses and all that, you know, just got back from Salem Horror Fest, did a secret screening, ended up showing Burt I. Gordon's Burned at the Stake, a.k.a. The Coming, which is, I'd say, the first horror movie shot at Salem, beating Hocus Pocus and Lords of Salem, and did it Cinematis movie style, so there was like commercial breaks and host segments and all that, so I basically talked during those breaks and went pretty well, you know?
Very cool.
I was happy with it. I don't know I don't recommend doing less than 36 hours flying anywhere and staying, because this is partially why I'm feeling like absolute shit right now and can't breathe. Like, between being pressurized, just flipping coast, time zones, you know, temperatures, weather, all that stuff. Dude, fucking world sucks now.
Yeah.
Like,
I think I'm impervious to all that stuff. I think I'm like now I'm doing the math in my head. Like, how long is that trip I'm going on? Is that shit gonna affect me? Because I'm just gone like real quick. But I don't think it'd be less than 36 hours.
I mean, I've done a few. I mean, when I flew to Maryland, like I guess back in March, like when I flew in, I was like, my sinuses were just fucked.
Yeah.
And you know, I know there's a surgery you can get where you widen your sinuses or makes.
Oh yeah, I'd like to do that.
Dude, if I could fucking afford that, I would get that shit done now.
I think I have a deviated septum.
I don't know what I have.
I'm definitely operating on a deficit.
I just like, you know, when like weather shifts, like if it stays consistent, either stay cold for like weeks at a time or stay hot. Not like, oh, it's 50 degrees today, now it's 80. That just shit fucks me up.
Huh.
And I don't know, like and just before going to Salem, I had kind of gotten over like coughing fits and all that. And I was like, the last night of the show I was coughing like crazy, and like now I'm okay. Now it's just being like congested.
Yeah.
Like I got one of those like nose strips like the pro football players wear sometimes, help you breathe a little bit. This shit does not fucking work. All it is I can feel this goddamn like thing on my nose, just like my skin ripping underneath it. So I'm gonna probably have a fucking welt under here when I take this goddamn thing off.
Yeah.
But Salem was fun. I didn't have a lot of time to sightsee and stuff, even though I've done plenty of that anytime I've been there. But like on my last night there, which was, I only had like 2 real nights there, I decided like I'm gonna go to this fucking goth dark wave night. And I guess this is my No Country for Old Men moment, where I just realize how fucking old and out of touch I am, at least when it comes to like goth music. I go in there and it's like, I don't know any of this shit. It's like all like, what do you even call it? Is it the dark wave industrial stuff?
I mean, you played me like a video of what they were playing, and it was like EDM with like some kind of like some spooky vocals over it.
Yeah, and like,
you know?
And I didn't, when I was there, I didn't really hear what was being said, but the guy's like, congratulations, you signed up for the thing. It's like, what the fuck lyrics are those? Just because you're doing the sinister goth voice. They're just saying like nonsense, like file your taxes before April 5th, like that kind of shit with just some like spooky fucking like EDM like beat underneath of it or whatever. Like, I don't know. And we were talking about this, and we're going to talk about it now. It's like, I guess our opinion of what goth music was for a period of time that lasted like less than like what, 6 years is what you were saying?
Probably so, right? I mean, really, it's a style of post-punk, really. Like when people think of like goth music, they're talking about like a certain era of like, I mean, well, The Cure, obviously, but like, you know, it's post-punk. It's like British post-punk.
Yeah, I mean, all those bands came out of like because they saw Sex Pistols.
Yeah,
and then like there was the Clash and all, and everyone just kind of
they want to get spooky.
They got a little bit spookier. They put some eye makeup on. Like maybe some of it has to do with the Damned or whatever. But
yeah, for sure. The Damned had the look.
I think the Damned was more for the look, but musically it was just like.
But he was kind of a little spooky too.
A little spooky. Yeah. But like I think of Joy Division, like the sad music. I guess
true.
I guess when I think of goth, it's like, it's all the post-punk stuff, and then it's like the death rock stuff that really isn't the same,
Yeah.
There's a big difference from like, Killing Joke and like fucking Fields of Nephilim or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But, I'm at this goth night, and I'm just like...
You think goth night, you might hear some music you've heard before.
Yeah. I mean, just throw me the fucking Cure song. As long as it's not Love Song... or fucking Friday I'm in Love. I mean, not that those songs are bad, but it's just like, fucking play something like off of Pornography or whatever.
Do you think the clientele that night was like tourists?
I think it was locals.
Like I'm curious who they're.
I think there's a local goth scene there.
Okay, where people just move there because they're goth and it's Salem.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's like just a goth scene that just naturally is.
There.
Yeah,
because it was at this place. It was at a sushi bar called Kodo.
Yeah,
and they do different like musical nights. They have done goth nights, and I've seen their calendar for years. And I never gone. I was like, "Fucking, I might as well go since it's my last night here." And like, I didn't know what to do with myself. It's like, I don't know. I was dealing with like mental like like I ain't got no one to really hang out with, and I'm like doing everything by myself. So it's like what's going to help you feel better? Being surrounded by people that are nowhere in your age group and like making yourself feel so fucking out of touch. But a beer and a shot was like $10, so it's like I can't complain.
Yeah.
And that's with tip, so it's like way below LA prices, but like I don't know. And then they had a hockey game on at the same time.
I mean, broaden the appeal a little bit.
I mean, I also guess like I think it was Boston Bruins, so it's like I guess like
Yeah, but I definitely, but I think that I mean, the goth, how long is like the goth subculture going to stick around, right? Like in the sense that like, especially like the kind of music that you're suggesting is like what is known as like the staple goth thing, right? It's like a period of post-punk that happened in like 5 or 6 years. But so like as time moves on, and we're talking about something that's almost 50 years ago now.
Yeah.
So like as time moves on, as like if young people keep getting into the goth culture or whatever, right? It's like, do they just continue to listen to that same like just 5-year period of music? You know what I mean? That's just a fun little thought experiment there. It's just like, of course not. I mean, that's just a ridiculous idea.
I mean, it's like emo. Like when I think emo, I still think of all the fucking like DC bands and then like, shit like Get Up Kids and like Promise Ring and stuff like that. When someone like 10 years younger than us thinks emo, it's all like fucking Thursday or whatever,
Yeah.
Like it doesn't make any sense to me, but like it's like I got to accept that like goth is aged into something else. And the shit that I think is goth isn't even considered goth anymore.
Right.
I mean, I guess that's just what it is. So when you see like someone like dressed in all black and like some fucking heavy eyeliner or whatever, they're probably listening to like "Do Your Taxes" or "Get Evil" with some like kind of beat.
Evil.
Yeah, I don't know. Some kind of weird dark wave beat under it, and then it's not like Susie and the Banshees or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Or Echo of the Bunnymen. I don't fucking know.
I don't know, man. It's fucked up. It's also fucked up. Getting old is fucked up, dude.
I mean, look at hardcore now. That's a good example.
Yeah, I mean, we could jump around to all the subgenres for sure, and yeah, it's like, man, I was there from the fucking jump, and boy, has it changed. It's just like that's every conversation. It's like, all right, well, how old are we? Are we vampires?
No.
How many fucking cycles of hardcore do I have to see before I fucking blow my brains out?
I mean,
or before I stop paying attention.
I mean, I like a lot of the bands that are hardcore or part of the hardcore scene, even though I don't think most of them are purely hardcore.
Yeah.
I think there's there's a lot of new metal and all this shit, but
yeah,
that's a discussion for another day. But speaking of hardcore and things influenced by hardcore, I did a pinch hit Q&A right before I went to Salem. I ended up doing for the Cinematex This Is Not a Fiction documentary film festival thing. I did a Q&A with Brett Morgan, the director of Montage of Heck, the Kurt Cobain movie.
Yeah.
And I wasn't asked until hours before the screening. So I had to run home and watch or speed through Montage of Heck because I hadn't seen it since it came out.
Right, speed read.
Well, I mean,
as you are.
I mean, honestly, it's I know the Nirvana story.
Yeah.
And I also, I know a lot of the background of the Seattle bands and all the connections and shit. But I was what is going to be relevant here? So it's just I kind of
ask him if he knows who killed Kurt.
Different documentary, but
did you ask him?
No, I didn't. But Dave Grohl came up at the end, and we'll get to that. But
how am I just hearing this now? Really? How am I just hearing this now?
What? That we talked about Dave Grohl?
Oh, I thought you meant that Dave Grohl got up on stage at the end.
Oh no, he's not even in the documentary.
Oh.
I'm gonna
you said Dave Grohl came up at the end, and I'm like, Grohl came up?
No, I meant he came. My phrasing was incorrect. He came up in the conversation.
My bad. Okay.
I mean, that'd been crazy because he's like, "Why am I not in this fucking movie?"
It was and then Pat Smear popped up in the back, and he's like, "Hey."
I mean, I during the movie, Brett got up and got Lyric, who does runs the events there. He's like, this movie's not loud enough. So when the Nirvana songs came on in the movie, they were fucking slamming.
Hell yeah.
And he was fucking rocking out. I'm like, dude.
Was he straight up headbanging?
Oh yeah.
That's embarrassing.
But it could be viewed that way, but
yeah.
But
yes.
I'm gonna give the benefit.
I just call it passion.
Yeah, that's
sure. Yeah.
I'm going with it. I mean, I could see both sides, but
Shout
it's
out. No, respect to the man, but
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but it was interesting.
I too am passionate about Nirvana.
Yeah, but you didn't make a film on it.
I didn't headbang at the theater.
That's true. You weren't there.
Yeah, I was projecting across town.
What were you projecting that night?
I think maybe I'm lying.
No, I think you were. I just can't remember what you were. And it's weird. Normally this show was on a Monday, and normally I would have a screening, but I didn't have any screenings for this documentary fest. So it's
I think that might have been when I was projecting Elm Street and Beverly Hills Cop.
All down for Netflix at the Egyptian. Mm-hmm. Makes sense. But the conversation was really good. The first question I asked him, he gave it a 10-minute answer, which was fine. But we kind of got into the nuts and bolts of why, what was it about Nirvana and Kurt that really resonated with people, in generations, still does, you know what I mean? It's weird to kind of think that Nirvana can kind of regard in the same way the Beatles are in a way. Mm-hmm. They just transcended
or at least Led Zeppelin or something,
Yeah. And
not that the Beatles is the wrong comparison, but I'm saying I definitely, it's they didn't reinvent the wheel, but they did.
Yeah.
And
also just how he had so much talent, but fame was the worst drug kind of thing.
Yeah. And also the branding was so fucking strong that is another reason why it has survived to this day, I think.
Yeah.
It's dude, the amount of people that even just wear a Nirvana shirt and don't know what it is, but it's just a walking billboard.
Yeah.
For someone else to discover Nirvana.
Yeah. I mean, it's all those things.
Yeah, man.
And towards the end of the Q&A, like, I wasn't going to bring it up because, like, I assumed there was a logical reason why Dave Grohl was not in the documentary.
Okay.
And honestly, because Chris was.
Oh, okay.
But here's the thing. Chris was in the band the whole time with Kurt.
Mm-hmm.
There was like he's like, because like Brett started saying, like, I didn't have Chad in here. I didn't have fucking Dale Crover in here.
Got it. Okay.
You know, he was like, he's like, what really was going on was like Dave was doing that, like, I forget the documentary he was doing, like that highway thing.
Yeah, okay.
Sonic Highway, I think that's what it's called. And they had finished the movie, and they're like, all right, Dave's ready to do his interview.
Oh, shit.
So, you know, they were already kind of locked, and they went and did the interview, and he's like, I had this interview, and, like, I tried to cut it in even though the picture was done, and it's just like every time he would pop up, it's like, it doesn't feel right.
Crazy, okay.
So he shot the interview.
Interesting, man.
And he's like, maybe because it's now 15 years old or whatever, I can re-edit it and do a special version. But it's just like, at the time, I was just kind of done, and like I knew where the movie was.
Right on.
So it wasn't like some malicious thing. He did mention that he thought when Courtney first saw the movie, she was going to get up and punch him after the screening.
Oh, fuck.
But, I mean, she's pretty vulnerable in it because they're using their home videos, and like she's like flashing herself and all that, and like all that shit's in there.
Yeah.
It's very intimate, and also you can tell like how fucked up they are.
Yeah, totally.
But it was kind of cool. I haven't, you know, I don't get to do too many non-void Q&As. Yeah. So it was really nice to do this one. It, you know, turned out to be a lot of fun.
Very cool, man.
I do want to talk about, like, we just wrapped up, the hell was it? Void is Paranoid. That was the April lineup. Got to show Clute in the movie theater, which is an all-timer. Nice 35mm print.
Sweet.
Killed with the audience. That movie's so fucking good.
Yeah, dude. I love that one.
Like, Alan J. Pakula was like, I don't know. It's that, Parallax View, All the President's Men. Like, he made some fucking 70s bangers.
Yeah.
And I learned, I didn't know how he died, but like Kevin, the co-director of Starry Eyes, is like, yeah, he died on the Long Island Freeway. You know, Kevin's from Long Island. And it was like, he like got Final Destination.
Oh, no shit.
Like a truck had stopped and a pole went through the fucking windshield and got him.
No fucking way.
I never did that, so we had Long Island iced teas and, you know, tribute to him after Clute.
Right on.
And close things out with the Manchurian Candidate, which was a hell of a thing to watch in the theater in this day and age.
Nice, man.
Like, I don't know, man. There's some, you know, if you want to look at it as like, is Trump a Manchurian Candidate?
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's a theory you can look at, like, or any political side you want to look at. It's just like, Manchurian Candidate's so goddamn good. Like, I think this has been my favorite series I've done this year. Like, just all the movies, Marathon Man, Ninth Configuration, Clute, Manchurian Candidate. I think, like, the April lineup's been my favorite lineup.
Yeah, well, this next one's pretty fucking wild. So I think this next one kind of takes the cake for me.
Oh, this one was just insane. And, like, I don't know. It's like, by the time this episode comes out...
we'll be halfway through, I suppose, right?
Yeah, but it's still worth talking about. So the theme was void intellectual properties, and it also kind of, like, about movies I saw as a kid that had, like, you know, different impact on me. Actually, one of them I didn't get to see as a kid, and I'll get to that in a second. But, you know, I was thinking of, like, movies that took, like, intellectual properties and, like, you know, made a movie out of it.
Right.
And it was dumb because I kept, like, I knew I was missing something. But it was the obvious thing. It was the Monster Squad.
Right on.
Which is, you know, Fred Decker taking Universal's intellectual property, which were the monsters, at a time where Universal didn't give a shit, which is crazy to think about now.
Right. They're just like, yeah, you can have, but they don't call them that, right? It's like, what's the catch there?
I think the one they had to be tricky with was like they had to call the creature from the Black Lagoon creature like Gilman, but
yeah, okay.
A mummy can be a mummy. Dracula can be Dracula.
Mummy definitely came in my house.
Yeah, Wolfman got nards.
Wolfman definitely got nards.
You know, Dracula is a public domain, but like,
do they call him Dracula?
Yeah,
I can't remember.
And I think they call him Frankenstein's monster.
He was a fucking that's a scary Dracula. Who was that actor?
I forget his name. I know Tom Noonan from Manhunter is the Frankenstein monster.
Yeah.
But the guy who plays Dracula is fucking terrifying.
He's terrifying. And then of course, Uncle Rico. I always forget the actor's name, but that guy is
John Greason, who is
John Greason.
Yeah, he's in
everything.
Napoleon Dynamite.
Yeah, but
most importantly, he's King Vidiot in Joysticks.
oh, true, right. But yeah, he's the werewolf in Monster Squad.
I don't think he plays the werewolf when it's actually the werewolf, but he plays before he transforms. And like most,
He's more of a Danzig shape when he's the werewolf.
yeah. But like his seeds are great because he's a phobe of like, someone needs to help me before I change again. Like it's a lot of yelling. It's like he's so fucking good. But I'm excited because originally this was going to be DCP, but I had a private collector reach out. It's like, hey, I have a nice Monster Squad print. And I pitched it up to the Cinematheque, and they said, yeah, we can book it.
Very sweet.
And on top of that, Andre Gower, the lead kid from Monster Squad, is coming out, going to do a Q&A.
Hell yes.
I've met him before. He's a super nice dude. So It's like, it should be a lot of fun. And like, Monster Squad was a movie that meant a lot to me as a kid. Mm-hmm. Saw it a ton on HBO.
Did everyone our age see it a ton as a kid, or like or did we just both happen to catch it and fall in love with it?
I think it's 50-50 because there was people that did and then people did, because it wasn't a movie that I rented when I got really deep into horror movies. Mm-hmm. It was something I saw and always remembered, and then like years later when it came out on DVD, I revisited it, and it's like, it still hits the nostalgia spot. Mm-hmm. And it's just like, I don't know. I'm excited to watch again. Like,
hell yes.
Monster Squad's a movie I can't get tired of because it's 82 minutes. It moves. Fred Decker directs the shit out of it. It's co-written by Fred and fucking Shane Black.
It's perfectly executed. Like it's like perfectly like formulaic, but in a just such a perfect way. The way like it really is. Like you could call it a fucking kids movie, but it's a perfect movie. Dare I say? I really love fucking Monster Squad, man. Maybe it's nostalgia, but like I just think that a tight fucking script, dude.
No, it just fucking moves.
Yeah,
it's like that's why. I mean, I love Monster Squad, and I think the only thing I don't like is the Monster Squad rap at the end by what's his name, Michael Sembello, who did Maniac. It's no Maniac Cop 2 rap, is what I'm getting at. But like that that's a small thing to consider. Mm-hmm. The other song where it's like party till you drop.
That's a great song.
That song's a fucking banger.
Hell yeah.
The rap song, not so much. Someone's gonna be like, fuck you for saying it. It's like whatever. In the pantheon of like horror movie rap songs that explains the plot of the movie.
Yeah, right.
It doesn't quite land. But
not your favorite. Okay.
But the rest of the movie's incredible.
I feel like it's just like we are the Monster Squad. Some shit like that, right?
Yeah, but it's the guy who did Maniac doing like his fucking like fucking Sugar Hill Gang or whatever fucking like.
And then we did this, and then we did that.
Frankenstein came. Now Mummy was in your house. There he is. I like it, Dracula said, "Give me the amulet, bitch." I don't know. I'm very white.
Spoilers.
Is it? Are we spoiling a movie from like 1987? I guess for someone, but like, you've had plenty of time to watch Monster Squad. Monster Squad has my favorite ADR line of all time, which is meeting adjourn, where Dracula says after he blows up their clubhouse.
Yeah.
Because he's clearly not saying it.
His lips don't fucking move, yeah.
I mean, he's walking out of frame as he says it, and then they're like, yeah, he needs to say something. And this is like, meeting adjourned.
What do you think about meeting adjourned?
Dude, that fucking line is hard as
We
shit.
couldn't get Arnold to say meeting adjourned last week. Let's get him to say it. Okay, let's do it.
I mean, it is a Schwarzenegger
Dude, what if that was a famous Schwarzenegger line? Meeting adjourned.
Speaking of him, if you go online, there's photos from the Monster Squad premiere. Schwarzenegger's there.
Hell yeah.
And like, I think it was also because like, I'm trying to think what year Predator came out. Because Shane Black was an actor in Predator, but I think he was also an actor and like a ghostwriter. And was punching up the script. That's why they had him in there.
Shit.
And like, dude, it was a big Hollywood premiere. The other thing I love is the old Adidas ads. Like where they have all the monsters wearing Adidas, and then it's like Andre Gower's characters on there wearing Adidas shit. It's like, that shit's hard, man.
Right on.
It just bums me out that like, in the pantheon of like 80s kids like genre movies, it's like everyone's like, Goonies never die. Fuck the Goonies when there's Monster Squad. Sorry. I mean, even in my like sinus congested state, I could still hate on the Goonies.
Yeah.
Nothing's going to change that.
It's true.
Now, because I had lost a Monday in May, End up doing the 7 and the 10 on May 6th. So after Monster Squad, if you're adventurous, well, I mean, this is going to be out, but for those of you who are adventurous, you would have sat through the Garbage Pail Kids movie. A movie my parents wouldn't let me see as a kid. And I'll get into why when I get to the last movie in this series. Now, as a kid, and I'm sure you as well, collected Garbage Pail Kids.
Oh, yeah.
And for those of you who don't know, I mean, you look them up, but it basically Topps had put out these cards with like these gross, like it was a takeoff of Cabbage Patch Kids, but it was like rhyming names, and like they had 2 versions of the card. So it's like Grim Jim or like Kelly Skeleton or something shit like that. You know what I mean? Or like Pete Pumpkin. You know.
Yeah, it's like great like alliterations.
Yeah, Atom Bomb and Nick Nuclear. I don't know, something like
Nick
that.
Nuclear, it would definitely be one, yeah. And it would be a drawing of me with just like a, like by the top of my head would be like a nuclear like reactor or something, or it would be like blowing up, like the famous.
Yeah, look,
that's
I think that's the first card. I know Atom Bomb is like the one name. I don't know what the other one. Nick Nuclear sounds right.
Yeah,
it probably isn't, but anyway, as a kid, because I had all these Garbage Pail Kids, it's like, oh wow, a movie's coming out. Mom, Dad, take me this. They're like, no. This movie looks like shit. They didn't say it like that, but like reading between the lines, they're like, this movie does not look good. And I could not convince them to go take me. And this is, you know, my dad took me to see all kinds of crazy shit. Like he took me out of school to see The Crow and like Terminator 2 and things like that. He sat through like, what's the Jason Statham series where he takes all the adrenaline with the
Crank.
Yeah, my dad sat through Crank 2 with me and Bruce Holochek one time.
That rocks. I just bought a copy of Crank 2. Like, just because I want to I want to, like, watch it with a bunch of people.
Oh, it's incredible. My dad didn't really like it. He liked Jason Statham, but I think it was just too weird for him.
Yeah.
But anyway, I never saw Garbage Pail Kids growing up. When I was, like, in high school, college age, eBay time. I went on eBay and I was like, I'm going to get Garbage Pail Kids finally. I'm going to get it on VHS because, like, you know, it was right when DVD was happening. It was like, this will never come out on DVD.
Yeah.
And I paid $30 for this VHS and I watched it and I was, like, so disappointed.
That was like a, when I grow up, I'm going to eat cookies for dinner kind of thing. You're just like, I'm buying it.
I'm buying Garbage Pail Kids. And I sat there and watched it. I was like, God, my parents were right. This movie's a fucking piece of shit. I mean, that's probably a little too harsh, but like the idea of what it was as a kid.
Like it is a piece of shit, and guess what? By the time this podcast comes out, it already screened.
Yeah, that doesn't matter anyway. I mean,
but like I still want to go. Like I know it's bad. I've seen it. I've rented it and like not finished it. But I'm probably gonna go to the screen.
And it's Inglorious 35 millimeter.
Oh yeah, too glorious.
Which is I think it's the funniest thing.
Yeah.
I think it was the funniest thing of why I booked like these 3 after Monster Squad, because I knew there was film prints.
Yeah, I think most of them actually I think came from the same place.
Yeah, they're all
like no one pulls these out.
Man, someone's doing overtime to like blow the dust off these boxes, but like, and the worst thing was after I paid $30 for this VHS of the Garbage Pail Kids movie. The fucker came out on DVD for like $9.
There you go. I'm hoping for a 4K soon.
And not to be outdone with the Garbage Pail Kids movie, the week after, this podcast might be out before this one, so, you know, taking a wild guess at this, but you would have a chance to go see Mac and Me in Glorious 35 millimeter, everyone's favorite E.T. ripoff. Maybe not. Some of you might like Nuki better, but like, I guess I gotta explain the intellectual property thing with this because like, well, Mac and Me is not intellectual property. No, but McDonald's is. And McDonald's, I think through like the beef industry, like we need to produce a film to make kids want to eat hamburgers. So McDonald's became involved with fucking Mac and Me.
Okay.
And there's a scene that takes place at McDonald's, like a whole fucking dance number.
Okay.
Have you seen Mac and Me?
When I was a very small child.
I mean, the thing most people know of is because the Paul Rudd bit on Conan O'Brien that every time he's like, oh, here's a clip from the new Paul Rudd movie. There was a scene where there's a kid in a wheelchair that's actually real life was in a wheelchair.
Okay.
That there's a dummy drop where he falls off a cliff
sure.
and like the wheelchair kid like falls in the water. And like it's ridiculous.
And it wasn't Paul Rudd.
No. But he always uses that clip. So that's the one. And the second this show got announced, it's like, is Paul Rudd coming? I'm like, why would Paul Rudd come?
Yeah.
Like, it's a bit. I don't think he's that invested in Mac and Me. Now, the last time I saw Mac and Me was on Mystery Science Theater 3000, like the Jonah Ray season. And, like, I forgot how fucking weird that movie is.
Yeah.
Like, it has Mac's family, and they're, like, all, like, weird. If you were stuck in a room with these aliens, you would kill them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're that annoying. And I think Jonah might come out and introduce this one with me.
Cool.
So, but it's a weird one. Dummy drop, McDonald's, that's your intellectual property. And on a beautiful 35mm print, you know, everything deserves to be on film. From Lawrence of Arabia to 2001 to Garbage Pail Kids to fucking Mac and Me. And the last movie in this series this was, I think, the first time I was ever disappointed seeing a movie in a theater as a kid.
But is this then the reason why your parents were like, you're going to be disappointed at Garbage Pail Kids? Was that the kind of the... we remember the look on your face last time after Masters of the Universe?
Yes. And you've just told what the title. Yeah, it's
Okay,
Masters of the Universe.
Right on.
Because, like, I don't know, you might have been the same way, but, like, I collected all those fucking action figures. I watched the cartoon.
I had the Skunk Man, and I hid him under my bed because he actually smelled.
Oh, that one. Yeah, Stinkor. He fucking actually stunk.
Yeah, Skunk Man.
Was it Skunk Man or was it Stinkor?
It's probably whatever you said, dude.
I don't know. There's a lot of...
I don't remember their fucking names. I was 5.
There's Beast Man and Merman. There's like a man and Skeletor.
Yeah, it's fucking Smell Man.
Smell Man. Anyway, I was very all in. And there's a photo of me as a kid at Christmas when I have all my He-Man shit set out.
You had the big ass castle.
Oh, I had
that castle was so cool.
I had Castle Grayskull and Snake Mountain. Snake
Yes.
Mountain was fucking... I remember
Snake Mountain was the shit.
I when I was at my parents' house last, I found both of them were still there.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I mean, I got rid of most of those action figures because most of them were busted up.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, they were... I didn't...
You played the shit out of them.
Yeah, man. I wasn't looking to collect.
Yeah.
I was looking to battle, son.
You're out in the snow fighting.
Yeah. I also... it's not in the movie, but do you remember the thing with the He-Man slime? That green slime? I think we talked about this slime on the fucking Redneck Zombies commentary. I remember I got in trouble because I got that slime on my bed. And my parents were they were pissed. But anyway, not as pissed as having to sit through that movie. So, you know, that Master Unit is produced by Canon. And I love Canon now. But as a 7-year-old, I have no reference of Charles Bronson or Chuck Norris or like ninja movies and all the, you know, Last American Version, all the crazy Canon catalog.
Right.
I think my first exposure to Canon was Masters of the Universe. And I'm thinking I'm going in and going to see a movie that's like the fucking cartoon live action. It is not.
Yeah.
It is a let's take everyone to the real world or Earth kind of movie. And it just... The one thing I'll say is Frank Lagella's like fucking Skeletor.
Yeah.
That's great. And I don't know. I'm curious to rewatch it in the theater with like an audience because I know that it has a lot of fans. My friend Uveen, who's helping me get some guests for this, like right now we got William Stout, the production designer, coming out, which should be cool. William Stout's a great production designer. He worked on this one. He did Return of the Living Dead. Like, he's one of the GOATs. And one thing I'll say about Master Universe, the movie, the production design's incredible. But yeah, as a kid, 7-year-old kid, didn't meet my expectations. So I was like disappointed. The other movie I almost did during this was the Transformers like cartoon movie. You remember that as a kid?
Yes.
Were you traumatized by when they blew the shit out of Optimus Prime in the movie?
I can't really remember it that well. But I have heard that take before that, like, you know. Yeah. Dude,
they were fucking murdering Transformers in that cartoon.
Yeah.
Also, remember they were like swearing in it too because they're like, God damn it. Like, and there's like robot voices. So, you know, so as much as it's intellectual properties, it's also going over childhood trauma here.
Yeah. There you go. Just working through some things.
Where the Monster Squad start with the one that was like the movie that like made me feel like I belonged to something.
And and then just burn through it to just misery.
Yeah, I mean, I fuck, people are really stoked for Mac and Me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine.
It's a fun one. You know.
I mean, fun.
Yeah, the real heads are coming out for fucking Garbage Pail Kids and fucking Masters of the Universe. Shout out to those fools.
Yeah, like it's gonna be wild for both of those. But I mean, I got a lot of other things going on May. It's actually a busy fucking May for me. I'm actually pinch hitting again on another Q&A. I'm gonna be doing the slasher size Q&A. This was actually a Theria event, and shout out to Heidi. I think she's on her honeymoon, which is why she's not there. She like sent me like a text, she's like, "Hey, can you do this Q&A for me?" I'm like, "Sure." Yeah, like I know the filmmaker Amelie, and like it's got like a bunch of like the name cult icons that are in it. Like Felissa Rose and Kelly Maroney are gonna be on the Q&A too. But basically, Slasher Size is like a workout video with like a slasher narrative in it. And the version they're playing at the Arrow is like they cut down on the workouts because it is actually a full-on fucking workout video.
Oh, wild.
So they kind of trim it down a little bit, but like, I mean, it'll be a fun night, and you know, it'll be fun to do a Q&A. And then the other thing I'll be doing in May, I'll be back at the Frida. I will be doing a I think I mentioned this in the last podcast, but it's like the Maniac Cop trilogy with Creature Bazaar, and you know, Bill Lustig, the director, will be there, and I'm doing 3 Q&As with him, unless I die from whatever the sinus thing I have. So maybe none of this is gonna happen.
Yeah.
Maybe next podcast, episode 92, is Nick doing a memorial because I died from like fucking a sinus infection.
Hey guys,
Nick Vance, doing this on my own now.
Dude, I promise. I'll keep it going for you.
You should.
Until I croak.
It should be like War. It should just keep going. Like, you know, it should be one of those things where it doesn't make sense that it keeps going.
Mm-hmm.
But like, you know, there's plenty.
It's just Napalm Death.
Actually, let's do Napalm Death instead of War.
Eventually, it's just 2 different guys.
Well, Napalm Death is at the point now that like they've cycled through like that Harmony Corruption lineup. It's just fucking Barney Greenway and Shane Emery. And Shane Emery was played on like From Enslavement to Obliteration, the second Napalm Death record. So like they're about to like they could quite possibly go through like a complete cycle through where like if Shane leaves and you know Barney leaves, it's like the band could still keep going.
I would love to see it. Mostly because I don't like Barney.
You got tired of him, didn't you?
He does that Monty Python thing that I can't stand.
What?
He just the way he runs around on stage is like a Benny Hill thing. He's like he's being chased. That song.
Well,
Dude, just watch a live Napalm Death video with that song over it, and you'll see what I mean.
I mean, I still like Napalm Death, but like I also feel like
I can't watch it live, dude. It's unwatchable.
I mean, we went and saw him, but
it was terrible. It was awful. It was painful, embarrassing.
I don't remember being that bad. I mean, that's your memory of it.
I wasn't as mad at the time, but the more I think about it, the more I think about the way that fool moves on stage, it bothers me.
We were pretty drunk by then, so
yeah, we walked all the way home. That was awesome.
Oh yeah, that's right, we did.
We walked from downtown to Hollywood for like no reason.
I mean, I think it was because the Uber was fucking too expensive, and we were.
I was maybe when I lived a little closer to downtown. I think maybe I just lived, and then you maybe Ubered home or something.
I think I walked back to your place and then I Ubered home.
Yeah, but I think that's likely. So it's not too far, but it's a couple miles.
I mean, it felt.
We were just drunk. Like, let's just fucking walk.
Just like talking shit and all that.
I'm like, yeah, Monty Python. You're just like, yo, fucking, what's that band? Fucking Cat Out of Decapitation. Suck.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of them. And
that's what we were talking shit about. That shit sucks.
Yeah, was there another? No, there wasn't another band or there might have, but we might have pulled the.
Maybe we missed them. Yeah, we saw Cat Out of Decapitation. It's just like, yo, why do people, bro? Hey, you know, I would fucking ride for that early Cat Out of Decapitation stuff. But once they became like a proper death metal band, they suck.
I feel like when a grindcore band becomes a proper death metal band, that's the end of the band.
They were more of a death metal band when they weren't one.
I mean,
that's what I think. That's my.
I'm trying to think of other grindcore bands that like Nasm. I mean, I don't know if Nasm quite did it, but like, I don't know. Yeah, there's something about like when grindcore bands kind of like, oh, our songs need to be 3 minutes long and have solos now.
Yeah, no thanks.
I mean, I don't know.
Wait, how do we get on Name 'Em Death?
I don't know how.
Oh, when we die. Okay, so anyway,
I forgot this whole thing.
Okay, so anyway, so Bleak Week's coming up.
Yeah, Bleak Week's coming up. That's a good transition. Like, I'm gonna die. Keep this going like napalm to death. Bleak Week. I got to show a movie I wanted to show last year, and like, originally it was gonna be a film print, but the film print we had access to was missing a reel, so that wasn't gonna work.
Oh yeah,
Jesus. It was missing reel 3, so it was missing the middle of the fucking movie. So,
right on, moving along nicely.
Yeah. But I think there would be some major plot points gone. But we get the premiere, the new restoration of this movie. This is a Hong Kong Category 3 film, which I think I've talked about on this podcast before. But like, Category 3 was like NC-17 in Hong Kong.
Yeah.
And when they went to Category 3, it was like no fucks were given.
I need to up my Category 3. Right? I've only seen like maybe 2 or 3 of them. I need to up my game there.
Did you see Ebola Syndrome?
I did. That's definitely a sick one that I should probably own for sure. There's
Vinegar Syndrome put it out.
Cool. It's definitely called. I definitely am looking for some recommendations of some more of just like the most fucked up ones, of course.
These are slowly coming out here.
Cool.
And I think a lot of it has to do with like Hong Kong and rights and materials. But like the one guy that made a lot of these, his name was Billy Tang. And this company called Error 4444, I think, like they do a lot of Hong Kong stuff. And they put out a couple of Billy Tang movies. They put out Run and Kill and Red to Kill. And the other...
Is that a sequel?
No.
Okay.
Completely unrelated. Red to Kill is even more fucked up than Run and Kill.
Okay.
I should say the one I'm screening is Run and Kill. It stars Simon Yam, that's in Ringo Lam's Full Contact. He's in all kinds of Category 3 things. He plays a great villain, psychopath, or a swab debonair guy. Like, he can do it all. One of my favorite Hong Kong actors. Actually, one of my favorite actors. Fuck getting that general in it. But, like, it stars him and this guy, Kent Chang, who is also called Fatty Chang.
Mm-hmm.
And I that's how I was introduced to him. It's like Kent Fatty Chang. And like he is a heavyset Asian guy.
Mm-hmm.
But he's like one of the best actors in Hong Kong. And like, anyway, so I got to explain the plot of this. And the way I want to explain it, and this is how I'm going to explain it for Bleak Week, is basically, here's a man that keeps making the wrong decision over and over again and making things worse. So basically, Ken Chang, he's a nice family man, owns a business, comes home, finds his wife cheating on him. So he gets upset, goes to the bar, gets super drunk, and accidentally hires a hitman. Hitman comes, kills his wife. And there's like, hey, you owe me a shit ton of money that he can't afford to pay. So he goes on the run, runs into some mercenaries that are like, hey, we'll do you a solid, we'll take care of these fucking dudes. Gets the head mercenary killed. And his brother, played by Simon Yam, is like, yo, you got my brother killed. I'm taking revenge on you. And one of the most psychotic, just fucking mean-spirited roles, Simon Yam is a fucking monster in this movie. Okay. In the best, worst way possible. No one is safe. And like I don't want to spoil it, but like it gets fucked.
Right on.
And like there's lots of black humor in this. Like all the Billy Tang stuff. Maybe not Red to Kill. Red to Kill is really, really fucked up. And he also did Dr. Lamb, which is another great one. It's Dr. Lamb, like you would probably dig. It's about a serial killer that's also a necrophile in Hong Kong. Allegedly based on a real story, but like there's slapstick in it, and then there's just like grimy shit. But like Run and Kill is gonna be a blast to watch with a crowd, and it's not gonna be in a glass cage.
Yeah,
level of just like sadness and bleakness. this one's going to be a fun Bleak one.
Where's that one screening?
It'll be at the LF3. It's actually going to be it won't be on the regular Monday. It's going to be on a Tuesday because they didn't want to compete with the Beyond Fest like Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer night.
Gotcha.
They wanted to break up the genre stuff a little bit. That's fine. But I'm excited to watch that. Kind of wrapping up this rambling and me, potentially dying of this sinus infection or whatever I have. I do want to mention, last episode I talked about like you had got me a yoga mat and all that shit. And I actually completed the 30 days of yoga thing.
There you go. No shit.
Yeah.
Very cool, man. That's sick.
And I've actually still been doing it. I have missed a day.
Okay.
Because like just one day I was just like too tired and I had to get to the office and all that. But
was that after the 30 or was that?
After the 30.
Wow. Right on, man.
Like
cool.
the day I flew to Salem, I was up at 3 a.m. doing yoga.
Fucking A. Real sick, man. Congrats.
And when I was at Salem, I did yoga even though like I didn't really have space at that place to do it. I mean, it was a big house, but like, finding enough floors so I could do the stretches and I had a towel down and the towel's moving, like, wasn't the best, but like I did it. Cool. And then the day I flew back, like I got back super early, I kind of crashed out and then like got up, did the yoga and crashed out again. So, I mean, I'm really happy I did it,
Hell yeah.
And, definitely good for the mental health and sticking with it a little bit. I've decided that I'm doing the 30 days again, but I'm kind of like redoing some of the days back to back just to get like better at those exercises.
Okay.
So I'm trying something different with it, but like,
cool.
It's been good.
Do you feel a difference? Like, do you feel like you're able to accomplish some of the moves better than you were the first time around already?
Some of them, a lot of the leg stuff I do better. I just realized I suck at upper body.
Yeah.
Like, I just have no upper body strength.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how I went through life without any.
Right on. Yeah.
It's just weird. It's like, fuck, why is this like...
Yeah.
I mean, I can't do a chin-up.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's like how weak I am.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, I could, I gotta lift like heavy shit and stuff. It's just like that.
Yeah.
It's certain things where you realize like, oh, I never focused on that kind of strength.
Mm-hmm. And
like, I'm going to like, that's why I'm focusing on some of those exercises because
cool,
I want
man.
to get better at it. So
yeah,
again, shout out to you for,
Hey.
Shout out to you. Shout out to Ray today.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, I guess this is a good recap. I'm still alive here. So
cool.
We're not quite napalm deathing yet.
There you go.
But we're going to take a quick commercial break. And when we return, it'll be Read, Watch, and Listen here on the Cinematic Void Podcast.
You're still awake.
Oh, this cold's too bad to sleep.
Got you some cold capsules.
But these won't help my coughing, aching, and fever. I need NyQuil.
NyQuil?
Nothing's better for sniffling, sneezing, and stuffy head.
You sure?
Yeah, plus NyQuil relieves my coughing, aching, and fever so I can rest.
NyQuil.
Be a long night without it.
Be right back.
NyQuil, the nighttime sniffling, sneezing, coughing, aching, stuffy head fever so you can rest medicine.
Is Snake Mountain ready to take on He-Man? Anytime!
Snake Mountain, Battle Armor, He-Man, and Skeletor each sold separately. You put the mountain together. Batteries not included.
Is your serpent ready to strike? Yes! Come, He-Man. Come to Snake Mountain. If you dare.
Snake Mountain with Echo Microphone from the Masters of the Universe collection. Action figures each sold separately. From Mattel.
An alien creature has accidentally landed on Earth. He's lost, frightened, and he needs a friend, somebody just like you. His name is Mac, and you can call him at 1-900-9094-MAC. Be his friend and share his adventures. And if you call Mac now, he'll send you his poster for free. Ask your parents before you call. $2 first minute, 45 cents each additional minute. Mac and Me, coming March 30th to your favorite video store. Call Mac now, 1-900-9094-MAC. He's waiting.
Welcome back. It's now time for... where we talk about all the things we've been reading, watching, and or listening to since the last time we recorded a podcast. All right, Nick, what have you been reading, watching, and or listening to?
I've been reading one of those fucking Varg books. There's like 4 of them that came out recently that just read like his fucking Twitter posts. They read like blog posts, like it's not very professional written, like it's just him kind of just quickly going for it. And there's 4 of them. There's like his childhood years, his fucking blah, blah, blah. But I got just the black metal years. So I've been reading that. It's pretty sick. I mean, it's like a lot of just the the story, you know, or like, but like the entire point of it is like, nah, bitch, this is how it actually happened, you know? Yeah, cool. So I've been reading that, on my days when I'm in the booth, not inspecting film prints. I'm fucking reading books about Burzum. And I just watched Dream Scenario, which is I don't think I talked about that on the last podcast, but it's the same guy, and I'm spacing on his name, but it's the guy that did Sick of Myself, which I loved from like maybe not last year, the year before. Christopher Borgli, I think is how you say it, something like that. But Dream Scenario with Nicolas Cage. Sick of Myself was way better, but I love the concept of like, if everyone just started seeing the same guy in their dream and like that guy is real, is fucking just a hilarious concept. Like you see him in real life, you know. I don't know, cool enough movie, like built on a cool concept at least. Pull it off fairly well. It's just comparing it to his film before it is maybe It's Only Real Crime. And then I just watched this probably the most interesting thing I watched recently was this documentary called Poison Ground: The Tragedy at Love Canal. And I've always been like somewhat familiar with Love Canal from when I was a kid for like multiple reasons. And one of them just being that like the Melvins had like a single called Love Canal. I think it was maybe one of their earlier singles, if not their first one. And so I just always knew what Love Canal was, but like not fully. And it actually is, it's not quite the same, but I draw a lot of parallels with like the neighborhood that I grew up in, because a lot of people, I grew up in this neighborhood that was like surrounded by like industrial plants and like chemical tanks. And like, I mean, like I'm talking like they were like right outside your fucking front door. Like there's like a parking lot and it's on the other side of the parking lot. Like, I mean, it's just right the fuck there. It's like mad, kind of weird, but like that's where I grew up, man. It like smelled bad. Like it smelled like shit. Like the literally like the wastewater treatment plant was like right there. So it's why I'm a mutant. But Love Canal, so like is this place like up near Niagara Falls, just I think it's like maybe 20 miles north of Buffalo, if I'm not mistaken. Where, you know, back before like things were much higher regulated, like there was like a pocket of like chemical companies there, and they would just take their stuff and like bury like old waste, like old chemicals and shit like that. And this one in this Love Canal region in particular, this one company had buried like, I think they said it was like thousands of barrels, not even hundreds, thousands. I don't know, it's pretty crazy. So like everyone in the area started like, you know, there's just like lots of birth defects that started happening, and people just like getting asthma out of nowhere, and people getting cancer, and just like tons of, just like everybody fucking started getting sick, especially if you were like little or, you know, pretty wild place and pretty shocking, man.
Before there was Aaron Brockovich out there like going after those companies.
Yeah, right on. So and listen, I guess I've been listening to some music. What I've been listening to, I've been listening a ton to like Pale Saints, Karate, J Dilla Donuts. I've been listening to a lot of instrumental stuff, a lot of like just world music and stuff. I don't know, some weird stuff. The new fucking Departure Chandelier, the fucking Satan Soldier of Fortune. Shit's awesome. Little fucking Agent Orange, little fucking R. Kelly, little fucking Laughing Hyenas, dog. I've just been listening to a ton of stuff, but like not really, like passively. You know, I'm just hanging out. You know,
jamming out.
But yeah, man, that's about it, dude. That's what I've been up to. I just got a fucking actually what I've been watching, reading, and listening to is just I just got this fucking another kitten. It's running around here somewhere. Little her name is Diane Keaton in Annie Hall.
That's the full fucking name.
That's her full name. Her name's Annie, and she's fucking cute as hell. I don't know where the hell she went.
She just got spayed, I guess, so she's in a little harness.
She's in a straight jacket. She's just chewing on her mic cords.
I mean that's what Binoche did when she first popped up and we were doing the podcast.
Hell yeah! Now she's just glaring at Annie instead.
Just angry, just like
truly,
but happier.
Yeah,
it's weird that cats get angry that you bring in another cat, but then they're happier because
There you go. Yeah, Stockholm syndrome. Just like you don't get to just leave. You don't get to leave because I brought in a new one. You're here too. You just fucking deal with it, pal.
Yeah, I mean, they'll get along. They're young enough that they should get along.
I mean, they, like Binoche doesn't like me.
That's not true.
But it's fine.
Cats always act like they don't like you. I mean, you gotta remember that cats look at humans as just a bigger, dumber cat.
I'll fucking elbow drop that little motherfucker.
Cat's like,
I can find her.
Cat's like, I'll do whatever. Just fucking crack the can.
Just feed me, bro.
I mean, as much as you think you own the cat owns you.
Oh, I'm right here.
You're
I'm self-aware. What's up, Binoche?
Read. Didn't read shit.
You were on a plane.
I packed that Charlie Kaufman book that we started talking about. We were both excited to read about.
Oh, nice.
And I didn't read it.
Like, this motherfucker's just too long.
I'll get back into it.
I need to as well.
I just
We'll start our book club.
Yeah, we'll start a book club. I just figured
2025, bro.
I just figured out what Annie Hall is because my headphone cable keeps like getting jerked back.
Yep, she's munching.
Yeah, that's fine. I watched a couple of John Waters movies. I even said it in the Baltimore accent there, John Waters. It might be also the sinuses, but like I rewatched Pink Flamingos and Polyester with the commentaries on because John's commentaries are always fucking hilarious. I guess I did it the day after his birthday or something like that.
Did you go to the museum thing yet?
No, I haven't. I need to go.
I think it leaves in August, so fucking check it out.
I got to hit up KJ at the Academy. She's like, well, you want to go? I'm like, yeah. It's like the fact that I can get a hookup to go, and I'm just being lazy at this point.
Totally.
But I'll go.
I'll go anytime.
All
Throw
right.
it out there if you.
We'll figure
if
it
you
out.
need if that's what's stopping you, you don't feel like wandering in there alone. I'll go 3 more times.
There it is. I mean, that is part of it. I feel like when I do shit by myself, you've seen the beginning of The Graduate when Dustin Hoffman's on that fucking airport people mover thing, and the fucking Sound of Silence is playing.
Yeah.
That's how I feel like when I do shit by myself.
Hello, darkness.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. Like, literally, that's how I fucking feel. I don't know. That part of that movie always resonated with me because I've done, like, I don't know.
Because I've been on the people mover.
Well, I've been on the people mover, and it's just like, I don't know, man. This isn't a therapy session. We'll you're like, tell me more, Mr. Branscombe. What is it about? No. We can do an episode about loneliness in general at some point, but not today. Not today, Satan. Anyway, speaking of Satan, I also watched the very, dare I say, controversial or very, people either love it or hate it, Late Night with the Devil. I'm going to say right now, not the best thing I've seen, not the worst thing I've seen. It is a 2-star fucking movie. And
2 is pretty low. 2 means it's bad.
It is bad. And I'm going to get into why. There's some good things, which is why it has a 2 and not like a 1 or a half star. The main controversy is the AI shit that's in it, like all the interstitial, like, we'll be back, like, like kind of commercial cards or whatever they used to have on 70s TV. And
say if that was the worst thing about it, you'd like it.
I mean, it's like
that's not the thing that ruined it for you though.
No,
right? That's what I'm asking.
No, the thing
like you actually didn't like it.
I mean, my problem was it's like it wanted to be a found footage movie and also not a found footage movie at the same time.
Yeah,
They set it up that it's like a broadcast of a 70s talk show, like that it's modeled after like Dick Cavett or something like that.
Yeah.
Like one of the people that was going head to head with Johnny Carson back in the 70s. And it just like it doesn't, like, people are wearing the wardrobe and stuff like that, but it just doesn't feel authentic.
Mm-hmm.
And then they cut to behind the scenes stuff. So like
who's the studio on that one?
IFC put it out, but
Okay.
like I think it was independently produced. And then I saw something where the cinematographer's like, well, we had to deliver a 4K film. I'm like, dog, you can deliver anything in 4K. You could deliver a VHS fucking movie in 4K.
Yeah.
You just export it like that. I mean, it didn't feel authentic. And the fact that, like, so you have the TV show part of it. And had they played it straight as, like, this is the TV show and it's unfolding, like, like Ghost Watch or WNUF or, like, the other countless like broadcast horror movies.
Yeah.
What it does, it breaks away and does behind the scenes stuff, and the behind the scenes stuff is black and white and in scope. So you're cutting from 4x3 to scope.
Right.
And it's like, pick a fucking lane. And it didn't work for me. I see people like, oh, this is the greatest thing. It's like, have you watched a fucking movie before? Like, straight up.
Yeah. I mean, I've basically, all the talk about it is only just like, oh, that was really great, or that was the worst fucking shit I've ever seen. I haven't seen anything really in between those two opinions.
Like the main guy, and I'm forgetting his name, and like everyone likes, I think he's pretty good at it, but like the performances are inconsistent. It doesn't feel 70s enough.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's a lot of 70s stuff you watch. There's a lot of like BBC TV things that came out in the 70s, like TV movies, like folk horror stuff that, you know, there's a thing that can make it feel authentic, and it just feels fabricated. And it's the kind of same problem I had with Skinamarink, where it's just like, you're trying to do this weird thing, but you're giving up the ghost. You're giving up the conceit of what it is. It's like the reason why the Blair Witch Project was successful, maybe not for the actors who got fucked out of like royalties and shit, who are now in the process of fighting to get that shit back, which shout out to them because they do deserve it, is like the Blair Witch committed to it. Even as far as they had the fucking sci-fi special that they made that like kind of tied it together. They built a world. It was like, this thing is, it's why Cannibal Holocaust works.
Right.
I mean, Cannibal Holocaust has a wraparound, but they're watching the footage they discover.
Mm-hmm.
But like the next evolution is like, you know, Blair Witch. It's like, we're putting out of the footage, and this is the narrative based on all the stuff we have. You know, Ghost Watch was supposed to be a live fucking TV special on the BBC where they had real like BBC broadcasters on there.
Yeah.
Like, it's committing to the fucking bit. WNUF and the sequel out there, Halloween Megatape, committing to the goddamn bit, committing to the aesthetic. And this one just, it doesn't fucking do it. And that's why it sucks. It's like, either do a fucking movie about a 70s TV show or do a found footage movie. Don't try to do both at the same time.
Yeah.
Like, that's fucking weak filmmaking. Fuck that movie. I want to lower my 2 stars. That movie's a fucking dog.
I like you keep getting more mad. That's great.
Yeah, the more I talk, and maybe it's the sinuses, maybe it's just the jet lag, maybe it's just because, I don't know, saying it out loud, it just realized like the movie made me angry because it just fucking sucks. It's not fucking good.
Yeah.
And everyone that's saying this is a good movie, why is it a good movie? Tell me why exactly it's a good movie. Because it aesthetically fucking sucks. I can tell you why Monster Squad's good, and it's not just nostalgia, it's just a well-made movie that tells a story. This one is a bunch of fucking bullshit, it's a bunch of fucking cliches, and it doesn't stick to the fucking aesthetic that it's trying to do. AI, that shit sucks. But, like, it's the least of that movie's problems. Wow, I didn't realize I hated this movie so much until I just started saying it aloud. Or maybe I'm just taking out my anger on Late Night with the Devil for other reasons. Who knows? But yeah, fuck that movie. Anyway, listen. I listened to this split EP by these bands, Ballamora and Since My Beloved, that you sent to me. I guess the record's called Six Packs Etched in Blood. And I guess it's like metalcore, black metal stuff. I don't know what you call it.
I mean, it makes me think of like, it's just, to me, it's just like 90s hardcore. You know?
Yeah.
It's just like when bands like fucking, like New Day Rising and shit, it's where it's like screamo and metal meet, and like they're also influenced by black metal, and it's just like those bands that are just like a big mix of those things that like, a lot of that shit's bad in hindsight, but like I don't know, I think this stuff works. I think it's good. They're pretty hyped right now. Balmora in particular are like pretty hyped.
I actually went back and listened to the other EP they put out too. I thought that was pretty good. I actually like their stuff the best on the split.
Mm-hmm.
They both bands do like a clean vocal section. I think the Ballamora stuff is clean. I like this split, and like as much as I just blasted Late Night with the Devil for not committing to one thing or the other,
Mm-hmm.
it's like, I feel like it's kind of seamless. Like they stick mostly.
They commit to the bit that is the same bit that they were doing in the 90s. It's just like, yeah, sure, it's 10 things in a blender. But the parts, they're seamless. I think.
I think it's black metal riffs with breakdowns,
Yeah.
and it just kind of works.
I mean, like even, it's like the how Disembodied had the song with like the kind of fake blast beat in it. You know what I mean? It's just
Yeah.
like, it's like kind of half-ass black metal, half-ass grindcore. I don't know. It's just like when people were just kind of trying shit. Let's see if this fits.
I also think it's the production that kind of makes this.
Yeah.
And I think if this record came out in the 90s, it would not hold up. But
Yeah.
because of
It
technology.
would be lost with all the other bands that did this thing. Yeah.
And it's like, I love lo-fi black metal, but I also like well-produced black metal.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it scratched an itch I didn't even know I had.
Nice, man.
Another thing I listened to was, I've been waiting for this to hit streaming, or both these records. It's ISIS, it's 2 of their EPs, it's Mosquito Control and the Red Sea. Really love the Red Sea. Might be my second or third favorite, like, ISIS record.
Right on.
It's just good. It has those sound clips from that weird HBO TV show that David Lynch did with Crispin Glover. Because there's like one of the Red Sea clip. There's a sound clip in front of the first song, and there's another one in front of the Red Sea. It's like, you were away, and then you have Crispin Glover. Where was I away? That Crispin Glover voice. You're away in the sea of red, and then the song goes in there. It's got a sick melodic breakdown. It's like when ISIS was definitely more sludge metal with weird like noise and synth stuff. I mean, not synth stuff, but like noise stuff. I think Jay Randall at one point was in ISIS playing all their noise stuff. Jay Randall from Agoraphobic Nosebleed. So kind of been nice revisiting those. I don't know how legit this is, but Gasp, who was like one of those like kind of West Bay adjacent power violence bands. Maybe not West Bay. They were probably from LA, weren't they?
I think so.
Yeah, they were from LA. So I think this was their
Or maybe even like somewhere, some like weird LA suburb.
Yeah. So Gasp was kind of like a noisy, sludgy band, and they had blast beats, and they used like sound loops and stuff. So Sore for Days was a demo they put out, but a lot of the songs ended up on like compilations and stuff like that. And it's all remastered. It's all like lossless. So I assume they just put it up. So it's like, why don't you put up the rest of the shit? Because the Slap-A-Ham LP is really good. They had a bunch of other like splits and stuff. So I kind of threw that on because it was just like sounded sick. Like I don't know. I get happy when I find weird shit like that on streaming.
Yeah.
That I have like an inferior, older like rip of a CD from back in the day.
Totally.
So like, it sounds better. Another thing was I actually missed this band when it came out and kind of revisited and kind of enjoy it. It's a Sex Prisoner. One's an LP, one's an EP. It's Tannhauser Gate and the other is State Property.
Man, State Property is a perfect fucking record. I know every fucking, it's just like Charles Bronson. It's like I know every fucking drum fill.
I don't know. I mean, I knew of the band
Man.
and I know I had to listen to it, but like for some reason I don't know what tangent I was on, but like I just kind of was in the mood for like power violence stuff.
Yeah.
And I kind of wanted to visit stuff that like I missed or didn't really give a full on chance, but goddamn, that shit's good.
Yeah.
Actually, good.
Legit.
Good is an understatement. It's fucking great.
Yeah.
And the last thing I listened to, the band Iris, which is like, I guess like the way they sell it is like the Adele of doom metal.
Really?
Someone said that, and I was like, I didn't realize that that's how they're selling it, but like female fronted doom metal, clean vocals, actually really fucking good. Dune Alter put it out.
Yeah.
I think they have a full length coming out. I saw they played a show for the single release that I missed. I think I was like out of town or like was getting ready to be out of town when I missed it. I was like, fuck. But I think they have a record release show coming up that I think it's at the Resident. I haven't been to the Resident. My understanding, that place is tiny as fuck.
The place is awesome, actually. It's a great place. They used to have great shows all the fucking time.
They seem to have the shows that like outside of like, what's the place in Highland Park that we like? Lodge Room.
Yeah.
Lodge Room's my favorite venue, but like the Resident seems like it has some good ass shows. And
it's maybe about the same size as where we were last night.
Okay. Well, that's cool then. So I want to try to go to that. I think the Whores are playing there because friend Kevin and Lisa go to that.
Cool.
Whores is a noise rock band, so I might go check it out then. Actually, speaking of shows, I got invited to go see Repulsion. I forget what that is.
Nice.
That's at 1720, which is like, with Scott's like, hey, you want to come to this? Do you want a Brave going to 1720?
Yeah.
Like his exact words. It's like,
Yeah.
guess. I mean, it's Repulsion Autopsy.
Nice.
So I have an extra ticket if you want to go.
Right on. I'm down.
All right, cool. We're gonna go see Repulsion Autopsy whenever that is.
Cool. Is Chris Moore playing drums?
Yeah, I think Chris is still playing.
Cool.
So I've actually never seen Repulsion play live, and I've known Scott for a while now.
Right on. I saw him do one of those Power of the Rift things a few years. I mean, maybe 7 years ago now. Really, it's been a while. But yeah, it's fucking awesome.
So yeah, looking forward to that. So unless I'm dead by then, which is
Yeah, we'll see.
we'll see. We'll see what episode 92 brings. If it's Nick and someone else,
Just let me know if I can get that Repulsion ticket somehow.
I'll make sure. I'll leave it in my will. I'll write a will out there. Like if I'm dead before then, Scott bequeaths like the Repulsion +1 to you. By the way, would you get Nikolai to replace me?
That's a good replacement. Yeah,
I
that'd be
think
fun.
so.
You know,
I sign off on that.
Okay.
If I'm dead by the next time we do a podcast, well, I guess we wouldn't be. Next time a podcast is supposed to happen, and if I'm dead, Nikolai can take over. So shout out to Nikolai.
Cool.
You're the backup. Now Nikolai's gonna like figure out some film noir way of bumping me off and taking over.
Mm-hmm.
He starts hosting screenings. I'd like to see Nikolai fucking intro Mac and me.
We're going to turn this into the Hack-A-Lantern podcast where we only talk about Hack-A-Lantern every episode. We discuss it at various angles.
I can't see you doing that.
Yeah.
Actually, I kind of want to die to see if you would actually do that. Like, you just every
in and out, dude, inside and out. Just we get all the cast. We'll have everybody on.
the director that's dead. Like just the fucking
this
weird.
is a deep fucking dive, dog.
You're just gonna break it down minute by minute.
That's it.
Frame by frame,
Frame
like
by frame, dog.
like fucking Zapruder film style.
It's it. So, as I'm dedicating my life to this.
All right.
And your death.
Well, there's worse things in life. This gives me a reason to die. It's because I want to see you suffer through it.
God, oh no. Don't commit to the bit.
It's like, well, Jim's dead, so Nikolai and I have to start this fucking
the worst podcast of all time.
I don't know. People probably dig it. You can get Chris LaMartina to come on there because he's a fan of the movie. You can talk about Hyde Pike, the old fucking farmer.
Someone likes this movie.
There's a lot of people that like this movie. I know you fucking hate it. Did you hate this more than Jacko?
I mean, it's fucking. What's the difference? No, really, which movie's which?
Jacko's the giant.
I'm not asking sincerely.
Oh well, Jacko, is shit. Is shit pickle. Okay. Because we had the whole shit pickle discussion.
No, don't tell me which movie's which, dude.
That would make it even better. That the whole Hack-A-Lantern podcast is you just talk about Jacko. God, I can't wait to die tomorrow. So you have to do this. This is gonna be really fucked up if I actually die for some reason. Fucking guilty.
Feeling guilty in doing the podcast. Fuck.
All right, Nikolai.
This is Jim's last witch.
God, that's like, that makes me think of like the people like, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but the people that have like, get the Wish kids or whatever.
Yeah.
The make a Wish Foundation. Do you think anyone has like a fucking ridiculous last request that like just is a struggle to actually fulfill?
Motherfuckers are asking to lose their virginity and shit. That shit's out there.
But will they actually fulfill that?
No.
They'll just like
buy me a hooker.
Did you remember the Kids in the Hall bit where that happened?
Vaguely.
So, actually, it was a baseball player. It's like, can you hit me 2 home runs, Joe? Like, it was like, and he's like, well, kid, I struck out. I'm sorry, but I got you this hooker instead. And he's like, forget them homers. Let me at that hooker. It was actually I think it was the last Kids in the Hall episode where they show all the sketches that they were banned from doing.
Oh, wow.
Including Hitler blanks a donkey.
Blanks. I love it.
It's like, what's that going on, Papa? That's Hitler, and he's fucking that donkey.
Wow.
I don't know why are we on this day? I must be dying. I'm just reliving my life of watching Comedy Central at like fucking like 1 a.m. Like, oh, Kids in the Hall.
That's what you're gonna see when your fucking life flashes before your eyes. It's just like
fucking bits and pieces of sketches and like TV I watched as a kid.
Hell yeah.
You know, what really is gonna flash before my eyes is the Master of the Universe movie. And I'd be like, and I'm just gonna have that moment where, like, as a kid, it's like, wow, that sucks, and then I just die, and then existence ends. That's gonna be my last memory. Is that? Is this kid too morbid?
No.
Yeah, you're right. Well, anyway, this wraps up this episode of the Cinematic Void podcast. I could be dead next episode. Might not be. I guess you got to tune in and find out. Until next time, see you in the void.